Hello, good morning, viewers. You are welcome to another episode of Jesus in the City. I'm your host, Mr. Nelson Okwonna. Today we'll be discussing on the theme, the Joseph strategy, still a subset of our broad topic, which is business as mission. Last week, we shot from the studio, from the premises of Kaduna Business School, and we discussed about the burden of discontentment. What we are saying last week essentially is that God doesn't necessarily seek our permission to initiate what He wants to do in our lives. In other words, for example, the timing at which Jesus Christ was birthed, the conditions weren't just the ideal structure. His father didn't, possibly make sufficient provisions, or even if they made provisions, the provisions were insufficient to cater for him. And in such a scenario, God deemed it fit to birth his son. So it's possible that you might be in your lowest moments, you might be discontented, you don't have sufficient resources to meet your needs, there are just so much challenges, and you're wondering, how do I meet my needs? And in the midst of that circumstance, God is telling you great and mighty things. It can be very, very disconcerting. However, the point is that within our discontentments, God is often willing and able to initiate His purposes, and our task is to flow with Him. And then by listening to Him, by giving attention to what He's saying, we're going to have peace. If we rely on His power and His directions to move on the task that He has given us, we're going to have His peace. So, despite our imperfections, despite our inadequacies, despite our errors, God is still able to use us. So our focus should be on God and not on ourselves. I would say, even if you had made a mistake in the past, that forgiveness is a powerful algorithm, that because whenever we come in truth and a contritness of heart, God is always willing to hear us, to direct us, and to bring us back to what He wants for us. So today we are discussing the Joseph strategy. What exactly is it? The Joseph strategy. In a nutshell, the Joseph strategy is a business development or value generating principle at the work or marketplace that essentially includes the free provision of a valuable idea, good or service to a recipient. You offer a valuable idea for free to someone to say, have you considered this? This can be done better, and this can be done this way. It could be to increase profit, it could be to save themselves from a calamity to come, it could be to avert hardship, it could be to maximize opportunities, it could so many ways. But the point is that this offer was made without negotiating rewards. Even if the rewards were negotiated, but it didn't have the capacity to exact that reward. Someone can say, okay, well, what will you pay? The person says, I'll pay X, Y, Z. But you don't really have the capacity to say, you must pay me. The power balance is not in your favor, but yet you offered it. That is what we call the Joseph strategy, and we're going to shed more light on that. So you are providing an idea, a good or a service to a recipient, essentially for free, especially where the power balance is not in your favor. That is what we call Joseph strategy. Now, the components of this strategy, we will say there are 4 components. Number 1 is that you identify the need. Well, there's a problem, there's a challenge, something can be done better. There's an emergency, that is the need. Like, let's say COVID-19 is a challenge. Everybody needs solution, treatment, cure, palliatives. That's the need. Now you're able to interpret that need, properly. You're able to interpret it properly. For example, COVID-19, what really is the need? Is it a vaccine? Is it protective barriers? You know, what exactly is the need? Or is it chemotherapy to treat? Within the context that that issue presents, you're able to interpret that need appropriately, and then you're able to provide solution, because sometimes the need is not what we think it is. Take for example, I was discussing with a colleague of recent about education in Nigeria, and we are trying to take it from the approach of providing funding for those who cannot afford to pay for good schools. But we're like interrogating that proposal. We're asking ourselves, is that the real need? Is the need of the children that are out of school children, is the need that they don't have access to school? Or is it that the family is poor, so the kids are kind of providing for their families? So if you think it's just access, if you think it's just an access issue, oh, they don't have schools that they can afford, even if you build those schools, they will not go to those schools, because that is not the real need. The real need is that they don't have food at home. On the immediate, they need food today. So they want to procure food for themselves. So you need to be able to resolve that poverty issue before you can have them in school. So you're interpreting the need properly. Then thirdly is to provide a solution. What is the solution to that? And then of course, finally, the management offer. This part doesn't depend on you. It is not the recipient that will say, okay, that's a good idea. I think you can do it. Why not do it for us? I know the many times when you're offering these ideas, you're not necessarily saying, I can do it. You're not necessarily saying, employ me to do it. You're saying, yeah, this is the right way to do it. Well, if you get us to do it, we can do it, So this is usually in a situation where the balance of power is not in your favor. So this is not to say that you should not negotiate for a work. No. That's not what we're saying. This strategy is circumstantial. There are circumstances where this strategy is perhaps the best thing that you have to offer. And we're saying this within the context of business as mission, within the context of individuals who believe that they are called of God to be able to represent Him in the marketplace. And we're saying that in many cases, in many circumstances, in many scenarios, you have to adopt this strategy, because folks may not even know that you have an idea of what is going on, that you have a solution, that you even understand what is happening. So you have to be able to reach out and make your understanding and perhaps your proposal clear. Now, for you to be able to do this, you need to have certain requirements, certain minimum requirements, and it's also part of what we've been discussing. That you need to have a servant mindset. Who are you going to serve? How are you going to serve them? How well are you serving them? Like we said the other time, this second to last session we had, that the servant mindset is critical in providing leadership in the marketplace. I have to be caring. I have to be concerned about the plight. So servant mindset is important. Now you have to understand the problem, which we said earlier. Understanding is a principal. A lot of times, the problem is not apparent. The real problem is not apparent. Like I gave the example of education. It's probably not just the fact that the kids don't want to go to school. It might be poverty. For some kids, it might even be that they don't have the proficiency to learn the way the education is delivered. Some kids might be dyslexic, so they don't understand the text. They're not getting it. So maybe what they need is a different kind of education. You may be amazed to know that this study that shows that a significant portion of out-of-school kids, that is in developed countries, are dyslexic. Those that become troublemakers in school, they are dyslexic. So these kids can't read. So because they can't read, they are deemed dullards in school. And so the motivation to be in school is just not there. And many of them enter vocational education and all that. So, understanding what the problem is is not often on the surface. You need to be able to look closely with prayer, with intercession, with study, research. You say, what really is the problem here? Now, number 3 is that you have to be solution focused. In other words, I need to understand the problem with a mindset of solving it, of profiling a solution, not just to run commentary. And this is of significant concern, particularly here in Nigeria, where everybody has an opinion as to what is happening in Nigeria. Yes, your opinion is valid. You have a problem, you have a poverty challenge. I've seen quite a lot of individuals, great individuals that actually make significant changes, exalt in the fact that they can run commentary on the issue. I say, running commentary on the issue is insignificant, it's inconsequential. It doesn't have a solution quotient. It doesn't have capacity to save the day. So our goal is not to run commentary on issues. Our goal is to, look at how we can provide solutions, how we can make pragmatic recommendations. Then finally, another component that you need is what I call execution capacity. Execution capacity. You have to be able to execute beyond having a servant mindset, understanding the problem, solution focus. You have to have capacity to execute. In other words, this is your ability to, deliver the solutions. The ability to deliver the solutions in a pragmatic way. So because oftentimes when you have adopted the Joseph strategy, you'll be called upon to execute, because your capacity to understand the problem, your capacity to analyze the problem is often deemed as capacity to execute. So like we said the other time, you must have execution capacity. So beyond recommendation, if you are called to do this, can you do it? So that way we don't become commentators. So if you read Genesis 41 from verse 25 to 36, you're going to see how Joseph actually did this. The king had a dream. Pharaoh had a dream. He didn't understand the dream. Joseph had to interpret that dream. This is the dream. However, the bigger issue though was the implication of the understood dream. Joseph would have said there's going to be famine for 7 years, and so that there'll be abundance for 7 years, after which there'll be famine, and dear Pharaoh, you'll be dead. That was the interpretation of the dream. But Joseph went the extra mile to say, let us seek out a man, let us store this for 7 years, and then after which, so the idea that you can even store grain for 7 years, essentially for 14 years really, to store grain for 14 years, that concept to enough to feed the entire earth is huge. The concept of storage, is huge. And I don't think Joseph, arrived at this in a hurry. He had been contemplating on this issue before now. So as someone who is called to the marketplace, particularly if you are called to business, if you are called to governance, I tell you, you must have been interacting with these issues. We have been interacting with these issues before now. So he understood that the bigger issue was the issue of storage, of managing the excess. That was the bigger issue. And he was able to make a proposal. That proposal was not requested. Nobody asked him to say, Joseph, do you have a proposal? No, he made a proposal. And thankfully, he had the capacity to execute. I believe that this is one strategy that God is using and is willing to use to bring us to places of immense significance. The concept of having us to understand issues, propose solutions, and find practical applications of our solution. Please, apologies for the background noise. Now, this application can be found, the application for this can be found in different areas. One, for job identification. Job identification. So this might be a way to find a job, where you make a proposal to a potential recruiter or a potential manager to say, this can be done better. This can be done better. Maybe you're in a current position, this can be a way to come into a new position. This can be done better. It could be a way to engage a client. Let's say you're offering a particular service. You could go to a client, this can be, and make proposals, unsolicited proposal, this can be done better. This you can do your office like this. You could, like someone came to me and said, Nelson, this your show can be done a bit better. And they were like, yes, I can also help you do it. Of course, we have to listen to him. So it's a way of job identification, of client engagement, and finally, among other things, this is just the three I've just highlighted, of investment procurement. Every time you're able to raise money for a project, you are serving the investor. The investor is not serving. You're telling the investor, oh, you have XYZ amount of money. If you invest it XYZ, you can make XYZ more. You are serving the investor. And of course, you must have capacity to execute. It's not as if they invest money in you and run away, that kind of sort. You must put a structure in place to ensure that the client gets back their investment. So job identification, client engagement, investment procurement, where you're able to convince other third parties to invest in a dream that serves them as well as it serves you. Because the truth is this, oftentimes whenever you have that opportunity to execute a project, an investment, a service for a client, it always brings you into some certain level of positive reward. Joseph had sufficient abundance, became the prime minister, that he was able to save his entire nation. The entire nation of Israel, the entire family was saved as a result of the position he was able to wield in Egypt. So who knows who you are going to save? Who knows the generation you are going to save by you reaching out there to provide practical solution? You understand? Who knows? God might have been speaking to you about some of these concepts, some of these ideas, simply because He knows that you can be used to save other people in certain circumstances. I see business as an ark that individuals who are employed in that ark can be delivered. Like in this COVID-19, a lot of people were still receiving money, salaries, despite the fact that COVID-19 shut down the entire economy. That was an ark. The entrepreneurs, the owners of that business, saved those individuals, those families from that hardship. That is one of the powerful tools of business. So Joseph was able to save his entire family by being the project manager at Egypt. So who knows who you are going to save by hearkening to what God is telling you, listening to what God is signifying in your heart, going out there, negotiating for influence. So being able to do that is so critical because God needs that capacity, God needs that influence. So even if you don't want to go out there, go out for others that will be influenced and affected positively by your efforts. So when God is calling us to business as a mission, it's not just about us. Most times it's about the individual, many individuals that will be affected by your service, your sacrifice, management. Of course, you too will be abundantly blessed. I don't think Joseph was sad that he was made prime minister. Yes, did he work hard? Yes. Did he get some, busy days? Yes. Did he have some days that he was like, oh, this work is so much? Of course, yes. But did he have fun? Yes. I think that's one of even the best ways to guarantee our prosperity. To go out there and dare big things for God. Now, we're not saying that you should just go and make proposals, just anyhow. No. Of course, as a child of God, you are led by the Spirit of God. So you want to search your heart, be sure God is talking to you, and go ahead and get it done. I'll give us a case study that we all know of a company, a custodian. Custodian is an insurance company here in Nigeria. founded by a man called Mr. Oluwole Oshin. The company, I believe, had even grown bigger than what it was at the time I wrote this case study. But the point I want to bring out is this. Mr. Oluwole Oshin, at the time he founded, at the time he was a student, he had a clear vision of the actuarial science, that is the insurance industry, and how it should be implemented. So he did his NYSC at Nikon, as a Nigerian Insurance Corporation, and he was one of the first generation of those who were not employed by the firm on passing out. He was not employed. However, he went to the MD and pleaded with him and said, "Sir, can I work for free?" He loved insurance so much that he was able to work for free. He said, "Can I work for free?" And for like 6 to 7 months, he was working for free at Nikon here in Nigeria, now Lagos. And he brought so many good ideas, in the firm. He even, one of his ideas led to the creation of a new department. And he was made head of the department. Head, not necessarily legally, but, to midwife that department. So at the end of a particular season, his direct line manager wanted to reward him for the work he had done, to give him some benefits. So, you've done so well, you created this new department, you see what you are doing, what's your fine number? Let me go and tell the boss. And he was like, "I'm sorry, madam, I'm not a staff of Nikon, I'm not a legitimate staff of Nikon, I'm here for free." The one was like, "I can't believe it." He was like, "I'm telling you, that's true. This is about 6-7 months of working." So the line manager went to the manager, MJ was like, "You employed our best students, you mean our best staff is not employed?" What nonsense, They employed him immediately, backdated his pay, paid him for the 6 months that he had to work. And with Nikon, he rose to a management level, After that, he thought, okay, at this management level, I'm getting a lot of knowledge, but I want the knowledge that can help me form a new company. So he resigned from Nikon, went and joined a smaller company at the bottom, where he was able to see head to head with the MD. So at that level, he could learn so much faster than what he would have learned at Nikon. I had to start a new firm and get that running. So after working with that firm, even at that level at the bottom, he was able to get his MBA qualification. He got more entrepreneurial experience. When he came back, moved back to Lagos, worked with another firm to gain more knowledge. And at the age of 31, so at the age of 29, he incorporated his firm, the Custodian Insurance Firm. 29 years old. However, it took 4 years for the business to actually start. So it's not always true that when you are ready, that is when to happen. Sometimes this is going to take a while, 4 years. I've had those experiences. There's some dreams that we've been pushing for a while, and people were like asking you, "You've been talking about this thing for too long." No, it took you 4 years, and he waited for that 4 years. From between 1991 and 1995. So that was incorporated at the age of 29, but the business really began at the age of 33. Today, Custodian is a household name. They have even bought some of the firms he worked with before. It's a household name now. So if you count the first big 3 insurance companies in Nigeria, you count them. So my point is that there are practical case studies. For me, that's I keep saying that 95% of the business I've done or I'm doing or what has given me income in the past 10 years was better like this, of proposing to clients, to individuals, and saying, "Can we do this better?" And then they're asking you, "Oh, let's do it." So empathy. You must have empathy. You must have concern for issues. So when you hear that, the issue of Fulani herdsmen, yes, there's a concern for the farmers, but there's also concern for the herdsmen themselves. You need to understand the issue. You understand the issue of Boko Haram, of dropouts, the dropout issue in Nigeria, of the unemployment issue in Nigeria. of the poor competitiveness issue in Nigeria. You need to understand these issues. You need to give yourself to them, because most times it is the same time you will spend running commentary on government, running commentary on the political parties, running commentary, because see, government will come and go. Nigeria has had 1999 to date about 21 years of governance, of democratic rule, and very soon we'll be doing our 60th anniversary. Now, if you look at it critically, for every of these leaders, there's always something to run commentary on. Since 1960, always something to run commentary on. So there's no want for what to talk about. So being able to talk about leaders, leadership, governance, point out issues and all that, it's not, doesn't give you any exalted position. Anybody can do that. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry can do that. And for the next 60 years, there will always be something to talk about. The question you have got to ask yourself is this: what do you want to be your contribution? Talk or solution? So if what you want to do is just talk about it, no problem, continue. But you can go the extra mile. Shun that energy sapping commentary and focus on understanding. Ask God for wisdom. Develop pragmatic solutions. I'm telling you, you can sit at your home and decipher, how should health insurance work in Nigeria? Let me share with you an experience. I remember one particular time I was really popular about health insurance in Nigeria. So I sat down. I started doing the mathematics. What is the basic cost of care? What should be the basic coverage? That kind of stuff. And then I wrote down what I think, what I thought, did my financial modeling, found out some of the challenges, just to myself. Nobody was paying me, just contemplating the issues to myself. I shared it with a friend of mine, and she was like, that's good, lovely. Interestingly, much later, she was working in a firm where she was asked to, come up with something like that for another government, state government. She was like, Nelson, you shared some thoughts with me earlier. Can you share it again? And I did. And they fleshed it out, of course, borrowed some concept, used their own ideas, and they looked what they had for their government, for the government they were working with. A few years later, I shared a business case we've done for somebody. I shared some part of it with another client. The client was like, wow, this is lovely. I like this. Can you do insurance, something for me? Health insurance for me for another state government? I said, yeah, I can. What did I do? I called my friend. I said, that work I shared with you, you guys did something. Can you share with me what you guys thought about? What was your own conclusion? They shared with me. So now, to solve my client's issue was a lot easier. But you could see, by bantering ideas between two parties, I was able to earn almost $2,000 in today's money. That was like 4-5 years ago. But my point is this: when you spend your time bantering ideas, learning how to solve these problems, it's just a matter of time. One day, somebody will come knocking for those solutions. It's a matter of time. Particularly if these are in response to what God is putting in your heart. So pursue wisdom, seek to understand. I don't think Joseph came on that idea of storage for the first time, because mind you, he was the manager of Pharaoh's Potiphar's house. And as a manager of Potiphar's house, he had to do budgeting. He had to account for resources. So he knew about storage, he knew about preservation. So he was amply trained. So a lot of times you're in a position of work, and any firm you are working in, I'm telling you, more often than not, you are interacting with the seeds that will determine your future in the days to come. So if you're working in an organization, you just don't care what happens to the organization, you're just concerned about your task. Sorry, very sorry, sincerely to say. Because very soon, opportunity will come where somebody will ask you, you worked in this firm for 5 years, come and help us do this, and you're blank. You will not get the opportunity again. I'm telling you. or you might not. Let me not be definite. You might not. So if you're working in a bank, you should understand banking. If you're working in an insurance firm, you should understand insurance end to end. You should spend your time trying to understand. If you're working in a law firm, you should understand law in Nigeria end to end. You can't just be, oh, I'm just doing XYZ. No. Understand the system. Understand the system. Have a system thinking approach. Understand the system. You're working in an NGO firm. Understand the way NGOs work. What are their motivations, their concerns, their key success factors, how to plan, how to deliver projects. You must understand this. If not, you are not preparing yourself for being capable to deliver solutions. So when you have a solution, seek for individuals with the authority to implement. A lot of times you could just be talking to your boss. Sir, we can do this differently. It does not mean that your boss will accept your idea. Forget it. Don't get bitter when they don't. They may never. But they'll give you feedback. They will say, oh, good idea. But good idea. Well, the fact that they will say it's a good idea is amazing. Perfected. So a lot of times the good ideas we have might need some tweaking, but it is by running with people that it gets better. So we are not a one-man army, but by constant engagement, proposing, we are able to fine-tune whatever God has put in our hearts. So be bold to propose your ideas and be patient enough even when the delay is long. Remember, demonstration of insight, like we said 2 weeks ago, is often assumed to be sufficient demonstration of capacity to execute. Sufficient demonstration of insight is often assumed to be sufficient demonstration of capacity to execute. So demonstrate insight. Your character, like we said 2 weeks ago, will determine the quality and consistency of your execution. So hard work, integrity, diligence, truthfulness, these are key elements that we must not be found wanting in our life. We are not saying that things will be perfect. It can't be perfect. Things cannot be perfect. The world is not a perfect place. Things may not go as fast as you want it. There might be challenges here and there. Let's say you might not sell as fast as you want to sell. There might be cash flow issues. These are normal concerns for every business. Imagine Joseph was even faithful to Potiphar's house. In Potiphar's house, what happened to him? Potiphar's wife almost got him in trouble and he was jailed. Some will be like, Joseph, what has all this your Joseph strategy gotten you? What is the reward for all this your kind services? Is it not prison? We see the story is not over yet. The story is not over yet. The Bible says that the righteous falleth 7 times or riseth again. So the story is not over yet. So I don't know if where you are in your work, maybe you are like now saying, oh, I've done all these things you are saying. Brother, the story is not over yet. The story is not over yet. Dust yourself or shoot again, try again. Go out there, pitch again, propose again. Might be amazed to know that it is the last proposal, the last phone call, the last solicitation that will make the difference. It doesn't always work the way we want it. So go out there, pitch again, push again, try again. In conclusion, our generation is in dire need of bishops in the marketplace. And this leadership strategy is both spiritual and pragmatic. So it's both spiritual and pragmatic. It has heart and it makes art, it makes sense. A bishop of necessity must have insight on the problems he has been called to address and must be bold to declare his solutions. A bishop must have insight on the problems he has been called to address and must be bold to declare his solutions. Execution is critical. Growth is the norm. You will have delays, but stay at it. Thank you once again for listening to us. The Heart and Heart Foundation exists to help you to bridge the gap between the heart and the mind, to help us to bring to our work, our everyday work, the ideas of the heart, to represent Christ in the marketplace. We're so glad to have you with us. Please feel free to share this with friends. Give us your comments. We love you. Thank you.
It's Jesus in the city.
This is hoping that you have been blessed by the program Jesus in the City, brought to you by partners of Heart and Art Foundation. To receive materials on the subject discussed today, visit our website on www.heartandart.org. For your questions, responses, prayer, or to be part of this project, call or WhatsApp us on this number:
0908 182 1702.
You can also email us on
mail@heartandart.org.
Till we come your way, same time, same station, next week. Do have a victorious and successful week ahead.